I have a question for you, Queen. Have you ever looked around and thought, everything is going fine, but why don't I feel like myself anymore? I mean, nothing's wrong. You've handled all of your responsibilities and you've done what you're supposed to do. But deep down, you know that something is off and you cannot quite explain it. So if you've ever thought this, I mean, even quietly, deep down on the inside, just for a minute, then stay with me because this video could literally change the course of your life. Because this is not a life problem. This is an identity shift. This feeling that you're feeling, it doesn't mean that you're ungrateful. It doesn't mean you're confused. And it definitely doesn't mean you're a failure. What it means is that you have grown, but your identity hasn't caught up yet. And that gap between where you used to be and where you are right now, that's what's making you uncomfortable. And for many women, especially when we're a certain age, over 40 or so, we have been so used to being the strong one, the reliable one, the one who handles everybody's responsibilities. And somewhere along the way, you lost that connection to yourself, that connection to who you really are. And then you feel like you don't even know yourself anymore. Welcome, Queen. I am Dr. Monique, and I help women just like you to rediscover their identity, to truly walk in purpose, and to write this next chapter of their lives with purpose and intention. There was a time when I felt like I had lost myself until I had a powerful realization. I didn't really lose myself. I just had changed and I had to discover how to walk into this new identity. I work with a lot of women who are ready to reclaim their lives, and I noticed several patterns that kept emerging. What you may be experiencing is what I call the lost self pattern. Know this, I see you and I understand because I have been there. And then in my next video, I'm going to give you some tips and some strategies to realign and adjust so you don't have to feel lost anymore. So I encourage you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video. You may feel like life is working out fine, things are going as planned or going the way they've been going in the past, but you feel a little bit off, or maybe things are not going so well, and you're still feeling like, who am I? What's going on? What is my place here now? Am I really doing what I was put on this earth to do? Am I maximizing my potential? There's so many questions and so many thoughts that you may have. But at the root of it, it all comes down to, who am I now and why don't I feel like myself anymore? And believe me, this is very common because we're at a point where we just have a lot of different things going on. And society will often have women where we look at our roles and that defines who we are. Maybe you have identified yourself as a mother, but yet your children are growing up. Maybe they're in high school or college or they've left the house and they just don't need you as much. And that is the way life is supposed to be, right? Or you've defined yourself as a wife or partner or an employee or professional. Maybe you've been a caregiver. There's so many different ways that we define ourselves, and we may see that our roles are changing. And then as we get older, with age, we may start to look a little bit different, carry ourselves a little bit different, maybe even facing some different health issues. You could be dealing with perimenopause or menopause. And with all of that, we just start to see ourselves a little bit differently. And then to start to wonder, if I'm no longer this other person, then who am I now? If I don't see my job as being as important as I used to. If motherhood is not the main thing that takes up the bulk of my life and my thoughts and my energy, then what am I supposed to be doing now? There's a lot involved with just changing and growing older. But I'm so excited that you get to be the author of your next chapter. Personally, I love to read, and I sometimes see life with the analogy of being like a book. We have different chapters. I'm not only the main character in my life, I am also the author. And friend, I say that is the same for you. You get to decide what you want to do with your life. Society often will judge us based on our roles, right? To put us in a category, as if our usefulness comes from the roles that we play, right? Our relationship to others. So if we're no longer primarily using all of our time to be a mother, then who are we? If you decide to retire or to switch careers, all of that can be a little bit disarming, a little bit unsettling. You may be going through what they call empty nest syndrome, and that's a lot. That is a huge change. And really have to grapple with the idea of, as things start to change, what does that mean for you? For some women, this feeling can seem to come from out of nowhere. And you may feel like you're having this whole like identity crisis. But let's look at what an actual identity crisis is. This is a period of insecurity or confusion about one's self image, values, and purpose. And for a lot of us, that's exactly what's going on. A little bit unsure. Why are we here? What are we doing? And it may include persistent uncertainty about your direction, feeling disconnected from your former identity, emotional distress, such as anxiety or emptiness, difficulty adapting to changing roles, and just really questioning your purpose and your future. And if you have been dealing with any of this, just stay with me because you are not alone. I've been there and I'm working with women who are right where you are. But the good news is there is joy and peace on the other side. We just have to work through a few things. When I think about the word crisis, right? We're talking about an identity crisis. I think about the Japanese word for crisis. There's a one part that is what we normally think of with just like danger. And then there's the other part, which has to do with opportunity or chance. So I like to think of this as a time in our lives where you have the opportunity and the chance to truly redefine who you are so that you can live a life on your terms. And maybe in the past, you've been one to make goals and plans and do what you'd want to, but some of us have just kind of gone along just with the program. If life is like a book, maybe you felt like you weren't really the main character, that you were a supporting character, or maybe you felt like someone else was writing your story. But, friend, this is the perfect opportunity and the chance for you to write your next chapter. And we're going to do it with a little bit of main character energy. You get to be the main character in your story. So, let me tell you a little bit about what happened with me. When I was 51, I found myself in a not so great relationship. I also found myself working a job that was rewarding on many levels, but still I was not maximizing my potential at all. And I knew that I wanted more. And I also had been neglecting my health. I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic. I had high cholesterol. I had knee pain, headaches all the time. And I had actually 3 surgeries that year. And I thought, this cannot be life. And in addition to all of that, my 3 children had reached adulthood. So now I didn't even have that to keep me busy or for me to identify as motherhood being my primary thing that I did. So I was really at a point like, what is going on? What am I going to do now? Then I saw myself in a vision as a caterpillar. And at first, I was not really pleased to identify with this caterpillar because in my mind, it wasn't one of those cute caterpillars. And I knew that this was not where I was supposed to be. But I also knew that I had hope because with the caterpillar, there comes the dream of being a butterfly. So I took some time to go in my little cocoon to figure out what it is I wanted to do and who I wanted to be so I could emerge and truly be the person that I want to be. And so I'm here to tell you that on the other side, there is joy, there is peace, right? I am doing the things that I would want to do. I reclaimed my health. I went back to school. I got my doctorate. I had gotten a promotion on my job, but since then, I've decided to do something completely different. And I'm truly walking in my purpose. And friend, I'm telling you, the same is available for you. But you do have to just recognize truly what is going on. There's a psychologist by the name of Carl Jung, and he says that the first half of our life we're focused on achievement and identity, whereas the second half of our life we're focused on meaning and purpose. Because when we're young, and if you have a family and you have children, maybe if you're dealing with school and starting a career, all of that is so important. And then in your later years, you really have time to stop and think about what it is you're calling to do, what kind of impact you're having on your family, the community, what kind of legacy you want to live. So you're transitioning from this person that you used to be, where you're just focused on your goals and your achievement and all of that, which is all good. And now you're becoming this person who will live out this next chapter. This is a very common thing that you're going through. So you're not lost. You are evolving and you are becoming this person, this main character in your life that will go forth and do all the things that you want to do. And if things are going the way you had planned, you could feel a little bit guilty, a little bit ungrateful. You can look around and say, people would love to have the life that you have, right? I kind of thought that there's some people who would love to have some of the things that I had, but why wasn't I really content? There were some people who would love to be in my position, but why wasn't I feeling great about it? Don't feel guilty. Do not beat yourself up. One thing I have learned is that change is a constant. We will always have to experience different changes in our lives. And right now you are changing into this person who has the opportunity now to live her life with intention, on purpose, and in purpose. This is your time. This season is not about adding more to your life. It's really like uncovering and discovering who you really are. This restlessness that you're feeling is not really a problem. It's just a way for you to identify that it is time for a new you to emerge. Just as the butterfly emerges from the chrysalis, it's like your new chapter gets to emerge. And it is so exciting. If this message resonated with you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be notified when the next video comes out. Again, I will be talking about tips and strategies for you to realign, for you to find yourself again, for you to be able to write this next chapter. And I am believing that your next chapter will be your best chapter. So until I see you again, be blessed.